know.
While Will's hair is slicked. Yo, welcome back to the 4 Wide Fantasy Football Podcast. Shed, you didn't say it with me, man. Come on. Shed, I should let you do the intro from now on, man. Because if you're watching on YouTube, Shed mouths it every time I say it.
Fantasy Football Podcast.
I was actually thinking about doing that too. Yo, welcome to this podcast.
We are here with the hottest football takes of the fantasy season. We are on to week 10. Guys, episode 209, 33rd recording. It's good to be back. We had a few weeks off, but it's good to see you guys again and share our knowledge with you, our expertise. Guys, we're halfway through the NFL season.
Crazy.
Can't believe that.
Crazy to think that at the beginning of the season, people were high on Anthony Richardson. Now the guy has been benched. Like, to think of how the season has changed. Remember the first 2 weeks, everyone was like, oh my gosh, New Orleans is real. Now they don't have a coach. They don't have a receiver room. And they just extended a 30-year-old running back and traded away their best DB. Like, the season has changed, but by this time, we know who is real and who is not. But anyways, let's start this episode. 1 minute of shine. Shed, you're up first, man.
All right, so is it just me or is Lamar Jackson becoming an elite passer? He's third in the NFL in passing yards, third in touchdown, and he's only thrown just two interceptions. Only Justin Herbert has thrown less interception with 1, but Lamar has doubled his touchdown output with 20 versus Justin Herbert's 10. And Lamar has 600 more yards as well, too. Also, Lamar also has more rushing yards than these running backs, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and James Cook. He had more rushing yards than those guys as well. Lamar could win his third MVP. If he does that, only Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers would have more MVPs than him. He would be tied with Brady, Favre, and Unitas. So
Dang.
I think we're seeing a huge evolution, and Lamar's on his way to his third MVP.
Okay.
That's interesting, right? Yeah.
I like how you start with, is it just me or is Lamar a great passer? I'm like, the dude's a 2-time MVP.
But he's not a 2-time MVP for passing.
Yes.
This year is different.
He's a 2-time MVP for being an MVP.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Pass, run, jump. He's playing the quarterback position. That's it.
I'm happy for him that he is being recognized as a great passer now. That was not the case.
20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's crazy. Crazy numbers.
Yes.
Balling, man.
Can I just say, I know it's Chad Samba. Why is Mahomes' name in consideration of MVP? That makes no sense.
He's not for this year.
Yeah, his name is in it.
He's doing fine.
He is just because they're undefeated. That's why.
Again, last night was much better. Before last night, it was horrible.
No. I'm trying. So I'm currently right now. I'm looking at the next gen stats. I'm trying to find the statistic. But when it comes, so Mahomes has.
Oh yeah, he's third. He is third in MVP odds.
No. So here's the thing. But no. Here's the thing.
Crazy to me.
If you look at his numbers as far as interceptions and whatnot, you would say he's not doing well. But the reality is, when it comes to catchable passes, he's almost at the top of the list. I'm trying to find those numbers. Like, for instance, Josh Allen is low on the interception rate, right? But he led the league in interceptions last year. However, Patrick Mahomes has had more catchable passes. He's just had bad luck when it comes to receivers dropping the ball and tip passes and whatnot. But he's doing fine when it comes to that stuff. It's not that he's having a down year. His numbers may look like it, but when it comes to his actual next-gen passing stats, he's doing fine. That's why his team's undefeated.
Like, the team is undefeated because of the defense, for sure. 100%. It's all the defense. There's no, like, if it wasn't for that defense, there's no way they would have been 6-0. That defense is out of this world.
Let's keep it
moving.
moving.
Complete team, yeah.
Same way how
you're 1 minute of shine.
Same way, no. Same way how Belichick defense carried Tom Brady through the playoffs, right?
No.
It's
Olu, something
it's
else for your 1 minute of shine.
it's not even
Please.
close. It's not even close.
Belichick had some top 5 defenses. Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead,
Now,
Olu.
Shed has messed me up. Now I'm like, I want to
Don't
just
do it, Shed.
anyway. I want to shout out the backfield for the Buccaneers because I'm trying to think of something. That's what's coming to mind. The way they look, when you see them on paper, and you see them, you're like, okay, this three dudes, regular dudes, but man, they are shredding every top run defense they've come across. They shredded the what's it called, the Baltimore run defense, which is one of the best. Like they've shredded most run defense. They've these three-headed monsters, and they just everybody takes the ball and just do their job. And I think wow, they're not being recognized as one of the best backfield in the league. Unfortunately, they have Todd Bowles as a head coach, and we know what that looks like. Last night, Todd Bowles lost them the game. Absolutely lost them the game. So I want to shout them out. They're a great team. They're doing a great job. Baker is doing a great job. Unfortunately, they cannot you cannot outscore or outwin a bad coach. 30 seconds left. First yard line. You call a timeout. You are the first yard line, 30 seconds left. And then the other or your opponent is the Chiefs with 3 timers left. And you call the timeout instead of running the clock. All right, you call the timeout. Cool, good. So instead of going for 2, you said, I'm gonna go to overtime against Mahomes. What about that? Like, are you kidding me? That is ridiculous. It's Mahomes we're talking about here. Yes, I like to hate on him. It's Mahomes we're talking about. There's certain human beings that play the game. Once they have the ball, it's over. Baker knew that. Baker knew that when they called ahead. And he was like, this dude is getting the ball. Anyway, I wanted to shout them out. They did their best. They could have won the game. Todd Bowles should have trusted his players. He didn't. And guess what? Todd Bowles is a losing coach yet again, as he's always been. And that's that.
1 minute of shine turned into the 1 minute roast of Todd Bowles. Okay. I'll go quick on mine. My 1 minute of shine is just to note how an entire franchise can change when you have a confident and a competent quarterback. And I'm talking about the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington derogatory term that we cannot say, have been the embarrassment of the NFL for years and years, cycling through quarterbacks. Nothing is working. The front office was an embarrassment. The ownership had to change. It was just a laughingstock of the NFL. Then you get Mr. Jaden Daniels, who comes in. He is setting records for completion percentage, efficiency as a rookie. All of a sudden, they're winning games. They're making noise. They are a playoff team right now. And they made a huge move today at the trade deadline, trading for top-tier cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. That's the type of trade a team makes when they believe we are a playoff team and we can win in the playoffs. That's the type of move that you make. It all changed because of a confident, competent quarterback, Jaden Daniels. That's what you need to turn a franchise around, and we're witnessing it before our eyes.
Shout out to Dan Quinn, too, and the GM for making that move, because now is the time you get those players when your quarterback is on a rookie deal.
Yes.
You have to go in for it, and they were smart, unlike the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, who waits and he doesn't pay his players and all that.
God.
Right. That's a whole different.
And then they trade for Jonathan Mingo.
That's a disaster.
And the most interesting to me is, do you guys know right now, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in NFC East.
Yeah,
In the
absolutely.
NFC East?
Yes. The NFC least. He is the best.
Did you not see Daniel Jones run over that defender at the goal line? Hello. No, I'm just playing.
That's the one thing he's done all year.
Yeah. It's the one highlight.
Wait, okay. Can I ask you a question real quick for the Giants fan in the room? Do you think they're going to get a quarterback next year?
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they know what they're going to do. I don't know.
They have to at some point.
I don't.
Who do you get?
I don't know. I hope they don't. I don't know.
They
I don't
get
want
back. They'll get back.
Carson Beck stinks.
Don't
Okay.
take back. That's worse than
Carson
Daniel
Beck.
Jones.
Carson Beck. I am a Georgia alumni. Carson Beck is terrible. I cannot stand Carson Beck. My 1 minute of shine. I cannot stand Carson Beck from the University
Don't
of
try
Georgia.
it.
Listen. The New York Football Giants. There is no more football season for them. They may win another 2 games at best. I hope that they beat the Carolina Panthers this weekend simply because the Carolina Panthers have 2 wins this season. Those 2 wins are against teams that eventually fired their coaches. And I actually like Brian Dable. So I don't want the Carolina Panthers to beat the Giants because I don't want Brian Dable to fall in line with the 2 coaches who got fired.
That's a tough one because if they win, that takes them away from picking the best quarterback like Shador.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, honestly.
You would sacrifice your future just for a lousy win against Panthers?
It's not that. I don't want them to lose to the Panthers. The Panthers are a terrible organization. You lose to the Panthers, that's like I said, the only 2 wins the Panthers have are against teams that have fired their coaches.
I have to say this. So this was like several weeks ago. I saw the graphic for this game in Germany, right? The Panthers Giants this Sunday in Germany, week 10. And underneath it said, "This is the final punishment for World War II."
Oh gosh.
We
Wait,
give
what?
Germany the 2 worst teams in the NFL.
Hey,
I
who's
will
going
say
to Germany?
this. I don't think the Giants are one of the 2 worst teams, but they are
They're not. They're not.
There's
they're
a
not
lot
one
of
of the
bad teams this year. A lot of bad teams.
There's some bad teams. I don't think the Giants are one of the 2 worst, but they are definitely dysfunctional. But anyways, let's get into the episode. Our 1 minute of shine took 12 minutes, guys. So after our weekly injury roundup, let's talk about player to notes. We're going to go through a little mid-season review simply because at this point in time, we were all hyped up about our fantasy drafts in August. But now looking back, let's talk about some mid-season review, how those ADPs have panned out. We're going to do a little trivia corner because that was fun and embarrassing for you guys, but hysterical for me. And then we're going to go to our single game mock because it's awesome and the winner gets a Jameis Winston jersey. All right, Will, injury roundup, man.
Here's what we got. Fortunately, from week 9, no running backs of note were injured. That is a miracle. Wide receivers, not so lucky. We've got A.J. Brown with a knee injury. Good news is it looks like he's day-to-day. He could play in week 10. Chris Olave, one of the worst concussions that you will see this year. That man got destroyed. Derek Carr was throwing hospital balls all day. So there is a chance, I was reading today, that they could put him on IR. This is not a 5-day concussion protocol. This could be a long-term thing. CeeDee Lamb with the AC joint, he's questionable for week 10. Cowboys don't have much to play for, honestly, so they may take it slow with him, take the safe route. Drake London, hip pointer, he is day-to-day but questionable to play week 10. And then Keon Coleman with the wrist injury, we're still waiting on more details. He is probably questionable for this week. Tight ends, free and clear. And then quarterback, Dak Prescott with a severe hamstring strain on injured reserve. He is out through at least week 13. And that's our injury roundup after week 9 of the 2024 season.
Cool.
Thoughts? Reactions? What's the worst thing here?
I have a thought. Not a matter of the worst thing here, but the best thing that was unsaid.
Yep.
Go ahead and say it, Will.
The best thing that was unsaid?
The best thing that was not said in regard to injury is there is a return this week. Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. I don't believe it. I don't believe he's playing.
He's coming back?
No way.
I don't think so either.
Double Achilles tendonitis?
I don't believe that.
He's not going to play this week.
I think he's playing.
He's playing, but he's not going to play at a high level.
If he plays, he'll be limited. He'll be limited with a high risk of re-injury.
I think he's playing, and I think that kills Jordan Mason for fantasy because now he's sharing a backfield.
So what is his fantasy value for McCaffrey?
I don't know. I don't have him.
I'm glad I don't have him. If he plays like a normal snap count, He's a top 2 running
Yeah.
back every week.
I don't think he plays a normal snap count, but I think Jordan Mason, I don't know if Jordan Mason's playable.
No,
at
if
this point.
McCaffrey is out there, he's the only one you're playing. You're not
Well,
playing
I don't
Mason.
know
You're
if
not playing
McCaffrey-
Garendo.
I wouldn't play McCaffrey in his
Or
first
think
week
about
back.
even he could get 5-6 receptions easy.
Right.
No, you have to play McCaffrey. He's gonna get McCaffrey healthy gets you 25 to 28 points.
Also
Yeah,
because they have so many injuries already.
No, they do. But first game back after, what are we in, week 10?
Yeah, week 10.
That's a lot of time without playing football.
It is, but he does not need a lot of snaps. He doesn't. To get the touches that would make him, like, he could get you 18, 20 fantasy points with 5 receptions.
Yes.
And like 40 rushing yards, right? Easy.
Yeah, but I just don't believe that you could just come back from Achilles tendonitis just like that and get back into form. Like it just doesn't happen that quickly. I don't think so. And
I doubt he's going to play in general. So we'll keep an eye on that until Sunday.
like he just received treatment from Germany recently, very recently.
I know.
Let's move on. Yeah, the injuries. I think this was probably the most generous of injury weeks because we've seen some brutal ones.
Okay, I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is I need about 2 of my handcuffs to become starters, whatever that means. Whether it's through trades or through, I don't know. I need Tyler Algier and I need Ray Davis to become starters.
Woof.
It's not going to happen.
Let's move on. Maybe that's people we talk about in players to know. I don't know, but let's talk about week 10, guys. Looking ahead, week 10, right now, there are teams who are trying to make the playoffs. There's teams who are trying to hold on, and they need to know who to play, who to sit. There are fringe players with there's lots of injuries in the NFL. Shed, who's your week 10 player to note?
So this is an interesting one. I've been kind of studying this guy, been looking at him, but Rico Dwaddle. I mean, the Cowboys are horrible. They stink. They're in a bad situation, right? But somebody has to carry the rock. Somebody has to actually get the yards. And with Zeke being demoted and what they're bringing up, what's the running back?
Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin Cook. Yeah, they're bringing up Dalvin Cook. Who's not going to do anything
again?
Exactly. Who's not going to do anything, right? But here's the thing with Rico Dwaddle is that the last 4 weeks, he's averaged, believe it or not, about 20 fantasy points, right? And he scored 3 touchdowns in those 4 weeks. And 2 out of those 4 games, he's had 100 yards from scrimmage. So, like, surprisingly, he's been very good and decent those last 4 weeks. And I would say he's a solid flex play moving forward this week. So if you have him and you have a bye or injury, Rico Dwaddle's the way to go.
Yeah, he exploded. He exploded this last week, and now they're going to be running a lot more because your quarterback is Cooper Rush and CeeDee Lamb might be out, and they have no receivers. So he's going to get a lot of touches, which will hopefully translate to fantasy value.
A lot of little dump down passes to him.
You would play Rico Dowdle in the midst of Dak Prescott going to IR.
Depending on your running back situation and injuries that you've had, yeah, absolutely.
A team that has won 3 games, is not good, has not been solid at rushing, and just lost their quarterback.
I think based on volume alone, he could be relevant. Because at one point, Madison was relevant when he had all the volumes.
Right.
If Madison can be
No, that's
relevant
true.
with figures, then Rico Dowdle could definitely be relevant. It doesn't mean he's going to be an amazing NFL running back. It just means he's getting the volume that can make him relevant.
Yeah,
Well, think about like if you're a team in your fantasy league, like let's say you're 4-5 or 5-4 after week 9. There are a lot of teams out there that had running back. Their running back room was guys like Isaiah Pacheco and Zamir White, because in August that seemed like a great combo.
Yeah.
Right. And now, so if those were your 2 running backs and you didn't get Kareem Hunt and you missed out on Chase Brown or other guys that may have been sitting on waivers, but you were able to get, maybe you stashed Rico Dowdle, right? Like a late round pick. That's your guy right now. That's your
Yeah.
best bet. There's nothing on waivers. Absolutely no running backs on waivers right now.
No.
Because they're all gone. There's so many injuries. The guys that would have been there they're long gone, like weeks ago.
Yeah, Rico, he has had. Let me look at some stats. I mean, you're right. Volume, you've got to chase volume. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
He's going to get a lot of it, especially because your starting quarterback is out. As Shed said, it's going to be a lot of dump off passes.
He could be facing a lot of stacked boxes, and he has not been efficient.
That's
But-
fine.
Doesn't matter.
It's
You chase
fine.
the volume.
Madison wasn't efficient at all. Madison wasn't efficient, but Madison produced points because he had a lot of targets and he got a lot of catches. So that's going to be some. And historically, he, like I said, the last 4 weeks, I know it doesn't seem like it, but he's been giving you points. So the numbers
Right.
say that. So it's a good sneaky play for this upcoming week if you're in like a Zamir White and Pacheco situation.
Right.
Three touchdowns in his last 4 games, all receiving. Here's an interesting number. He has 3 receiving touchdowns, 0 rushing touchdowns. This is a running back we're talking about.
Just get in the end zone some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
It's good stuff. Olu, what about you, man?
So mine is Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman is the ex receiver for the Cleveland Browns, which AKA the number 1 receiver. Cedric Tillman. Okay, can I ask you guys a question? What is the best defense in college football history?
Georgia Bulldogs,
yeah.
2022.
Yeah, this was a question for Matt for sure. Yes. Did you know Cedric Tillman put up 200 yards and a touchdown on that defense?
He was great at Tennessee. Absolutely.
I was
Great
like,
production.
whoa. So because of that, I drafted him, right? And he was on my bench. He was sitting for a while. He didn't quite have his opportunity. He had some rough times in his rookie year trying to get the NFL speed, trying to get the NFL lingo and everything. Amari Cooper was playing his position, obviously, but ever since Amari Cooper left and Cedric Tillman became a starter, he has been top 5 in on that 3 weeks. 3 weeks, he has been a top 5 receiver in the league in fantasy. In the first week, he had 21 points in PPR. Second week, 31. Third week, 23. He's been targeted no less than 9 targets in each of those 3 weeks. First one, 12 targets. Other one, 9 targets. The next one, 11 targets. And he's been making the most of it. He has scored 3 touchdowns in 3 games. Cedric Tillman can potentially be a league winner if you have him. It's probably, I hope Cedric Tillman is no longer on your waiver wire. It should not be anybody's waiver wire right now. It should be on everybody's roster, on every league's roster at this current junction. And it wouldn't matter who the quarterback is. If the quarterback is Jameis, we know Jameis is going to throw that ball.
Yep.
We know he's going to throw the ball.
Yes, he's going to sling it for better or for worse.
Yes.
If there's anything you can count on, it's Jameis Winston will be a
He'll throw the
gunslinger
ball.
and make
And
fantasy-relevant receivers.
Jameis will also throw to the other team as well. So there's
Yes, he
that.
will. 30 times in a season.
So let's assume
Wow.
Jameis gets benched, right? And they put in DTR. Everyone automatically will assume, oh, Cedric Tillman will suffer. But guess what? You would be wrong. You know why? Cedric Tillman and DTR were both teammates in high school.
Interesting.
They were teammates in high school, and they know each other very well. They were both on the second team with the Browns. So the game after what's his name, Deshaun Watson got hurt, almost the first 6 passes DTR threw was to Cedric Tillman. The first 6 passes before he left the game. So what I'm trying to say is it wouldn't matter who the quarterback is. DTR is actually more favorable. It's actually more favorable if it was DTR than Jameis. But even if it's Jameis will throw that ball. So I would like to highlight Cedric Tillman is a must start every single week, regardless of who the defense is. With the Chargers, he had 23 points with a very stout Chargers defense. So that's it.
Yeah,
Compelling.
he's been solid the last few weeks. Mine is real quick here. I'm going to say start this guy with confidence. New York Giants running back Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah.
He is the RB1 now. He took over several weeks ago while Singletary was injured. Singletary came back, but Tracy has not given
Never
up the
give it
slot.
back.
And right now, as we talked about, they're playing in Germany against the Carolina Panthers, who just gave up 215 total yards to Alvin Kamara, and they have nothing to play for. They're trading starters away. They're playing for an early first rounder next year. I think Tyrone Tracy runs all over them. I think he gets between 4 and 6 receptions. He is easily in the conversation for a top 10 running back in week 10 in Germany.
Tyrone Tracy's good, man.
I
Only his
regret
second year
not
playing
drafting
running
him.
back.
So,
I
quick
know.
question. Quick question when we're talking about, I guess, running backs or receivers. Obviously, game script matters, whether it's a negative game script or it's a positive game script. What do you think the game script will be like in Germany? Do you think they'll be willing to put on a show to throw the ball all over the place, or do you think it's something where they get early lead and they're just gonna run the ball, run the ball, run the ball? What are you guys projecting?
I think the game stays close because neither of these teams can really run away with it. I think it's not going to be a high scoring game.
Okay,
I
and
think the game script. So, as a Giants fan and watching the game, it was very obvious that the Giants don't trust Daniel Jones.
they do not trust Daniel Jones.
And
They
the
did not
first
throw the ball in the first half almost at all.
right, the first half of the game, even this last week against the Commanders, I'm trying to look at their next gen. Or I'm trying to look at their stats. How many times they ran the ball versus passed the ball in the first half?
They passed the ball 6 times. Trust me, I was counting because I was expecting the ball to go to Malik Neighbors, and it did not.
They passed 6 times in the first half.
6 times in the first. Okay, so here was the stats in the first half. Believe this or not, this is real. Four completions out of 6 passes, 0 yards, and 1 touchdown.
That was the first half.
That was the stat.
Gosh.
0 yards, 1 touchdown pass. That was the first.
So they're running the ball. They are committed to trying to run the ball simply because Daniel Jones is not a competent quarterback.
Right.
I think that's what they're going to do. Tyrone Tracy is going to get a lot of carries. He's the RB1 for that team now.
Yeah, but that's gonna hurt Malik Neighbors Malik's Neighbors value for sure.
Yeah. Joe, you're right. 4 completions on 6 attempts for 0 yards and a touchdown in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first half. I'm trying to think of how many rushes. And the Giants are not a bad rushing team. They're not bad.
No, but when the game got out of hand in the second half, then that's where. How many targets did Malik have? Most of those targets, if not all of those targets, came in the second half, and he was able to get respectable numbers, like 18 fantasy points. This was all in the second half. Why is Shed laughing? Shed, why are you laughing?
It's chat. But moving on.
I'll move on. So here's my guy that I'm going to advocate for, and it feels odd even talking about him. Mike Gesicki. Now, here's my case. Unless you have Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Cade Otton, or Travis Kelce right now, then the tight end position is pretty shallow.
It is barren. Oh my gosh.
You might be streaming. And to be honest, at the beginning of the season, who saw Cade Otton's breakout? Not many of us.
Not Olu.
Right? And not Olu. And right now, to jump on the Cade Otton bandwagon, it's already left the station. You can't jump on. It's gone.
It's done. Yeah.
But somebody who you could start is Mike Gesicki. And here is why. When T. Higgins does not play, Mike Gesicki blows up. Case in point.
Interesting. And
T.
their
Higgins
other tight end is out now. Eric All is out.
Cade T. Higgins did not play weeks 1, 2, 8, and 9. In those weeks,
Hey.
Mike Gesicki, week 1, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 18 yards. But week 2, 9 targets, 7 receptions, 91 yards. Week 8, 8 targets, 7 receptions, 73 yards. Week 9, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. When T. Higgins does not play, Mike Gesicki is the benefactor of that, as maybe the second pass option in an offense that has a very talented quarterback. If you have somebody who's getting you over 70 yards a game in 6 to 7 catches, you play him. If he's at the tight end position, even a tight end premium league, you get him in that flex spot because that's gold. Mike Gesicki is the guy you want to start at the tight end position. T. Higgins did not practice yesterday as of Monday. Tuesday, I don't think he practiced today. And the Bengals play Thursday night football.
Yeah.
I would say get Mike Gesicki in your lineup.
That is shocking, but it's accurate. This is the guy who's like, he has had the potential of this type of production his whole career and just has never been consistent. But you're right, without T. Higgins, he's like the number 2, at worst, number 3 target for Burrow. So that's a solid play.
His consistency is about as ugly as his gritty. We could say that.
The worst gritty you have eever seen. Or that or Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones did it at the Pro Bowl, and that was terrible.
Here's a question for you guys, you fantasy experts. Who is one under the radar tight end you guys feel would break out in the next 2-3 weeks?
Tucker Kraft, Green Bay Packers.
Mike Gesicki.
No, he's already broken out. Who else? Both of them already broken out. Who is one super under the radar?
Let's be real here for a second.
I have one.
Can we give a shout out to Kyle Pitts? He is having a breakout season.
He's having a breakout season for sure.
He's doing well.
Theo Johnson, actually.
Theo Johnson.
Yeah,
Theo Johnson has a lot of drops, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. The word drop gives me.
Let's mid-season review. This is good.
Mid-season review. So going into the fantasy football season, many people studied ADPs, player profiles, listened to podcasts, read articles, and most people went into their fantasy drafts somewhat optimistic with a plan of who to draft. And when you look back now, the thing that you say to yourself is, I wish I would have. Whether it be, I wish I would have never drafted this person, or I wish I would have drafted this person. So when we look back at some fantasy football, let's take a mock draft. I'm going to go through the first few rounds of these drafts. I'll go through round by round and tell me who is a player that stands out to you as far as the biggest steal and the biggest bust of this round. So I'm looking at a mock draft from ESPN, very reputable, end of August 29th, from some of their quote-unquote experts. In round 1, this is how their draft fell. And this is a standard PPR 12-man league. Picks 1 through 12 went like this. Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, first receiver off the board, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson at 8, Jamar Chase at 9, Saquon at 10, A.J. Brown at 11, Garrett Wilson at 12. When you look at those, and if you guys want to look at the show notes, click on the link. You'll see it right there. Of those 12 players, who stands out to you as one of the biggest busts or the biggest reach? State your case. Make it quick so we can get through a few rounds.
I'll go real quick. So the biggest bust is CMC because so many people did take him at 101 because the 49ers, how quickly we forget he was playing. They had the Monday night game in week 1. 2 hours before kickoff, they say, oh, he's not questionable. He's out. and that man has not been seen since. Like that's
Wow.
how close it was. He was playing like he was slated to start week 1 Monday night until 2 hours before. So of course he was the 101. It's him or Jonathan Taylor for me as far as the biggest bust around him. Biggest steal, Saquon Barkley as the RB5, who
Doesn't
is
make
putting up
sense.
record-breaking, like otherworldly numbers.
He's jumping over
Incredible.
people backwards, dude.
Oh my gosh. Did you see the Nike logo, the new Nike logo with that image and it had witness written backwards? It's beautiful.
That's cool. That's
He is
cool.
the biggest steal for me so far.
They
I
have,
would.
they have
I didn't-
moving backwards.
Witness was written backwards with him hurtling backwards.
Okay, I didn't know CMC hadn't even played this year at all. I
At all.
thought he at least got on the field.
No.
Wait,
Wow.
what?
Not once.
Wow. Okay. So, yes, that's a good one. I would also say Tyreek Hill, just because of what he did last year, not because of
True.
him per se, but because of the
Yeah.
situation with Tua and the quarterback situation. Even still, he hasn't really done Tyreek like things. And then I would say the biggest steal would also be Justin Jefferson falling
Yes.
to wide receiver
Yes.
4.
Okay.
He should have been probably the first wide receiver off the board, but because he was hurt last year with a new quarterback, that probably pushed him down.
It's so interesting because I think he fell to wide receiver 4 in this draft simply because Kirk Cousins left.
Right.
That's the case. The case is Kirk Cousins left.
Right.
But if you were lucky enough to get him on the back half of the first round, oh man, you're sitting there smiling now. Because Minnesota's one of the best offenses in the league. And Justin Jefferson is putting up Justin Jefferson numbers.
Yeah.
He's balling, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my biggest steal.
Just based on the fact that who you guys have chosen, so I will go with someone. He's not quite as much bust as some others have been, but just based on what we've been talking about, I would go with the biggest bust so far is Brees Hall as RB2. Brees Hall has been good for like a streaming or a good regular solid starter, but the struggles of the Jets offense have held him back. The emergence of what's his name,
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen, has dipped into some of his numbers. He's still some relevance. I'm just saying him based on the fact that the biggest bust has already been chosen so far. But as an RB2, he is not an RB2 in the fantasy league at all.
No,
And
it's true.
the biggest league absolutely is Derrick Henry.
Well, we're not in
Well,
round. We're not in that.
we'll get to
He's been in
that.
round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll get
just
to that.
around. Okay. All right. So in
And
that
Brees
case,
Hall.
the biggest
Brees Hall has been fine.
right, it's been fine, but you guys have named everybody else. Is what I'm saying.
He's been
Well,
fine,
yeah,
but not RB2.
Not
Like, that was
RB2.
not the best value.
Yeah,
I
no,
feel
he's
bad.
currently RB9 at this point, right? But he was drafted at RB2.
Right.
I feel bad for the people who drafted Tyreek Hill.
Well,
Yeah.
I finish here.
Okay, go.
All right. So the one of the biggest steal actually is Garrett Wilson as wide receiver 7. Garrett Wilson has been doing really pretty good. Even when what's it called? Even when the Jets offense was struggling, he was being pretty solid. So if you got Garrett Wilson as a wide receiver 7, like I did, I think I'm happy. I feel great with Garrett Wilson. He's been doing good for me. So yeah, so I would go with that for just
Yeah,
one.
no, that's good. And I feel bad for Tyreek Hill owners because it's not like the guy has missed time. He hasn't missed time. Tua has missed time.
Yeah, he's had Skylar Thompson and Tyler Huntley.
But to have
So,
one
man.
touchdown,
So I actually have a
through
question
9 weeks.
I actually have thoughts about that this morning, right? So does that mean Tyreek Hill is quarterback dependent? Because we've
No.
all unanimously previously held the notion that there are certain receivers that are quarterback independent they're quarterback independent, and we assumed Tyreek Hill was one of that until recently. Tyreek Hill struggled mightily with him. So what should we attest that to?
Is Devontae Adams quarterback dependent because Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew can't
He
get him
didn't
the ball?
struggle. He didn't struggle in those times. He did well. He just wasn't. He just wasn't like all world beater Devontae. But Devontae was still good enough.
Devontae did fine last year as a
Yeah.
fantasy producer,
Yes.
but Tyreek Hill has not
It's been
been
bad.
good.
Yeah,
He's,
it is
he's
bad.
wide receiver 31 in standard PPR scoring. Right
So
now.
so is he quarterback dependent?
I don't know what he is, but Skylar Thompson stinks. That's what I know.
I don't think anyone is going to produce with Skylar Thompson.
Let's talk round 2, guys. Round 2.
Let's go.
Pick 13, Jahmyr Gibbs. 14, Kyron Williams. 15, Isaiah Pacheco. Ouch. 16, Travis Etienne. Ugh. 17, Derrick Henry. 18, Puka Nacua. 19, Chris Olave. 20, Marvin Harrison. 21, Alvin Kamara. 22, Michael Pittman. 23, Nico Collins. 24, Devontae Adams. Who stands out to you as a steal or a bust?
I'll go.
Go.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So a bust is Travis Etienne. That
Yeah.
was bust of epic proportions. I cannot even believe it. I don't know what happened to this guy. I think there might be some injury that we're not aware of. Like because
He is injured.
No,
Absolutely.
he's injured now. But
Yeah,
even
he's missed
before
time.
being injured now, he's been bad from the beginning of the season. So it's just I believe there was an injury from the beginning of the season because a young running back doesn't just drop off the face of the earth just like that or off the cliff. So he's my number one bust. The biggest steal has to be Nico Collins. He's been drafted as wide receiver 12, but he was actually wide receiver 1 before he got hurt. If I knew he was going to be wide receiver 1, there was no way I would have traded Nico Collins in the beginning of the before the league started. This dude has been amazing. He has the most receptions. He has the most yards. He has one of the top touchdowns before he got hurt. So he's absolutely one of the biggest steal of this draft. If you had him at wide receiver 7 or 7, what was it? Wide receiver.
He was wide receiver 12 in this mock.
12.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was gonna say Etienne too. I'll just say very quickly as far as the biggest bust, the juxtaposition of Travis Etienne going before Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara, and just how the production has completely gone the opposite way. I think this mock is an example of the age bias with running backs, but Derrick Henry and Kamara are producing at 30 and 29 years old. Etienne has been a massive bust. And then I was going to say too, just Michael Pittman going before Nico Collins, Devontae Adams. Terrible. Even in the games with Flacco, he's been better than Richardson, but nowhere close to wide receiver 11, not even a top 30 wide receiver. That's a massive bust too for round 2.
I want to remind people that ageism is a sin and it's wrong.
Even in sports it's wrong.
There are some people who are just built different.
Right.
Derrick Henry is one of those guys. I don't care if it's standard scoring or PPR. Derrick Henry is built different. He was a guy I was targeting in almost every draft because for some reason he was falling into the second, third, and fourth rounds of drafts. In what world does a guy who's rushed over 2,000 yards is not really showing as many signs of regression? Then he goes to an even better offense that fits him perfectly with a running back, with a quarterback that doesn't check down. In what world does that hurt his value? And what has he rewarded fantasy owners with? Oh, how about a touchdown in every week of the NFL season? How about being the running back 1 of the NFL season halfway through the year? He's just built different, like LeBron James in NBA. He's just built differently. I don't get it.
Yeah. I'll quickly go. I mean, most of those I agree with you. My choice was Pittman, but since Will had touched on it, I'll go with 2 guys on the same team, Kamara and Olave.
Yes, please talk about that.
Kamara,
Oh.
I knew both of these guys actually from the start. I mentioned don't draft Olave. Olave is going way too high. I talked about that. Draft him later on. He hadn't had a lot of touchdowns. The team started out hot, but he's not doing too well. And then you have Alvin Kamara going at the end of the second round. Like I knew, I think it was his off the field issues or something happened to where he was dropping, maybe age too, but. Both guys on the same team, both guys heading in opposite directions. Kamara can still play. Olave is slipping. He's right down there with Pittman.
Here's the thing about Olave that's scary. Olave has had 5 head injuries since his days at Ohio State.
Gosh.
5.
That's what's the
People
score.
want to talk about how bad Tua's concussions are.
Yes, right. But Olave's worse.
Olave has had 5. Let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, and
He might
you're
not be in the-
more likely to get repeat concussions with each success.
He might not be in the league much longer, let alone he just had a catastrophic head injury this past week. With the concussion protocol, you're either out it seems to be like you're either out 1 week or multiple 4 weeks.
Right.
And
yeah,
didn't he miss a game earlier this year with an injury? I believe he already missed one. He missed week 7 against Denver.
Yeah.
He did with a concussion.
He's going to be in the concussion protocol. My guess is for quite some time. The guy has missed games. I feel bad for the man. I think his talent is there, but he is just not big enough. 6 foot, 187 pounds.
That's not bad. That's like Devonta Smith.
I am 5'9", 180, and I do not play in the NFL. He's 7 pounds heavier than me and plays in the NFL, but he's also 3 inches taller.
It's all lean muscle for him.
What are you saying? What are you saying about me?
I'm saying your 180 pounds and his 187 are not made of the same thing.
They're not made of the same material.
What's heavier, 180 pounds of steel or 180 pounds of I'm not
180 pounds is 180 pounds. That's what it is. That's why nobody likes you, Will. That's why no one likes you.
I would not qualify for the NFL. I'll just say that.
Let's go to the third round and we'll wrap it up here because we got some more segments to do.
All right.
Third round. We have first pick of the third round at pick 25, Mike Evans. Pick 26, Drake London. 27, James Cook. 28, Malik Neighbors. 29, Rashad White. 30, Josh Jacobs. 31, Debo Samuel. 32, Joe Mixon. 33, DJ Moore. 34, Kenneth Walker. 35, Devon A. Chan. 36, DK Metcalf. Guys, this round is gold.
Yeah.
This is where you make your money.
It is.
I'm looking at these names, and I'm like, Joe Mixon, hit, steal, right? I'm looking at Drake London, finally having his breakout. Malik Neighbors,
right?
Rookie sensation breakout. This is a good round. Kenneth Walker having a good season. I hate giving him his flowers, but Devon A. Chan has done fairly well this year.
Yeah.
This is a good round.
The biggest bust is obvious because there's really only one bust from round 3.
Say it together. Everyone say it at the same time.
DJ Moore. Oh, come on. I didn't know you were going to do a whole lead up there. That's it. That is the only bust of round 3.
Yeah.
And it's
I was
bad.
going to say Rashad White. Dang it.
But Rashad White has had some decent weeks.
Rashad White has been decent.
DJ Moore is unstartable. He could get you 4 points, and he has.
Did you guys see that play where he walked off the field in the middle of the play?
Yes,
I saw that.
did. Yeah, he was on the other side. Yep. That was crazy.
He walked off the field and sat on the bench in the middle of the play.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's more
terrible.
embarrassing. I don't know if that's worse than what Antonio Brown did.
No, that's not worse than what Antonio Brown did.
No, Antonio Brown was a clown.
Rashad White hasn't been that great.
He's been decent.
But the biggest bust is DJ Moore. We're just comparing those two, right? And it's DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I'll say the guy that keeps producing. I mean, he gets better with age and fine wine is Mike Evans. He was
Yeah.
doing real prior to the injury. He was probably top 5, top 3 or 4 wide receivers. The guy just catches touchdown. He's good for 10 touchdowns, good for 1,000 yards. Year
Not
in,
anymore.
year
Not
out.
anymore.
Yeah.
This year because of
But
injury, but typically,
the biggest steal, however, in that round has to be Joe Mixon, 100%.
yeah.
Yes,
Whenever
you're right.
Yeah.
whenever Joe Mixon is playing, for the most part, typically RB1 when healthy, for the most part. Like he's the biggest steal in that round. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he's getting," and that's the thing with age. An NFL player doesn't just automatically fall off after having a good season the year before. Like it does. It's not that. Sometimes it could be. Yes, if it's 35, of course. But 29 in his 20s, he's still a young man. It doesn't happen drastically. So I think Joe Mixon going this low was probably a crime for sure.
Yeah, he definitely rewarded fantasy owners with their investment.
Mm.
He's been a relatively good back, but then he goes to an offense that really suits him well. But we could do this all day, guys. Um, Honestly, we could have gone through 10 rounds, just had a good time. But
Yeah.
we have to keep it moving. And
But
trivia corner.
before we wrap up, I have been saying this for the beginning of the league, and I know in the league we are in, I say it and they make fun. ADP is not an indication of how well the player will do. I think ADP is really just saying what is the population at large, where they're drafted. That doesn't mean the population at large are right because they got Mixon and Nico Collins wrong for the most part. So, do you guys agree with that? Like, you cannot use
To win
ADP.
in your fantasy league, you have to outsmart the ADP. That's the challenge every year, right? You outsmart the ADP. If you draft and do that, chances are you're a playoff team for sure. You have a chance to win it every year that you can do that.
Yeah, you have to
yeah.
take advantage of the value. But when it comes to ADP and when you look at Vegas odds, more than likely Vegas odds are smarter than most people.
Right. Then the average fantasy football community.
I would go
yeah.
beyond average. I would say they're going to be smarter than 75 to 80% of people. I mean, the metrics that are used are awesome.
But that's the thing though. It's football. How smart can you be to predict a fall of ATN? How smart can you be to predict or not predict Nico Collins having a incredible
There's a
year?
lot of variables.
That's what I'm
There's a
saying.
whole mess of variables. Like for instance, with Tyreek Hill, he's so dependent. We're seeing he was so dependent upon Tua, but no one could have predicted Tua missing that kind of time.
I mean, that's actually very predictable though. Tua missing time is actually
Sure, but all I'm
probably
saying
the
is
most
there are
predictable.
so many variables. But when you look at Vegas odds, as far as like even weekly numbers, like as far as rush yardage, receiving yardage, and receptions, those numbers are pretty good. Spreads, they're pretty good. I mean, ADPs, they are not, they're not the end all be all, but they say something. It's a good starting metric, but I mean, you have to beat the ADP. You have to beat the ADP. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to try to get cute and grab my sleeper in the third round,
Like I do.
because I have a feeling. But guys, let's move on. Okay, trivia corner. You guys ready for some fun?
Let's do it.
You guys ready to hopefully beat each other or embarrass yourselves in front of everybody?
Let's
So
go.
here is the year, guys. What year is it right now? 2024?
Yeah.
Let's rewind the clock.
Okay.
We've been doing fantasy football for quite some time. And last time we did Trivia Corner, I quizzed you guys on 2014 wide receiver fantasy production. So this year, what we're going to do is we're going to change the positional group. We're going to talk about running backs. But the year is, again, 2014. No looking at lists.
Okay.
2014 was a great year for running backs, but the running back position is so volatile. There's so much turnover. So I'd like to know from you guys, who do you think were some of the people who ranked in the top 10 for running backs in 2014? Let's see who could get the most correct answers. We'll go down the list. Shed, Olu, Will, you each get 3 strikes until you're out. 2014 running backs. So each of you will get one, and you could say one thing, and then we'll go to the next person. You either get a correct one or you're incorrect. 1 through 10. Shed, you're up first, man.
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson is not on the list.
That was like no, that was towards the end of his Vikings tenure, wasn't it? 2014.
He is not on the list.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh man, I think I have the number 1 overall. Don't say it, Olu. Don't say my guy, please.
Let's go with this. LeSean McCoy.
That's good.
LeSean McCoy is number 11 on the list.
But he's not. He's not top 10, so that's a
He is
strike.
not top 10. That is a strike.
2014.
You said you know number 1. Number 1, when you if you get it right, you're going to be like, oh, duh.
Number 1 overall has to be Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell is number 2 on the list.
Oh, number 2. Okay. All right, we got one.
Number 2.
We're 1 for 3 so far. We got to do better.
Shed, you're up.
Darren McFadden.
Darren McFadden, no. Darren McFadden is not on the list.
I don't know if he was ever top 10.
He might have been in his Oakland day.
All right, let me try this again.
Gosh, I wish I was playing. Some of these names you're going to be like, oh, yeah, duh.
Beast Mode.
Who?
Beast Mode.
Beast Mode? Marshawn Lynch is number 3 on the list.
All right. DeMarco Murray.
That's what
DeMarco Murray is number 1 on the list.
Number 1. Okay, so we got number 1, 2, and 3.
I was thinking the Cowboys quarterback or running back.
DeMarco Murray, listen to this. DeMarco Murray had, for the Dallas Cowboys, had 1,845 yards, 13 touchdowns, 57 receptions for another 416 yards.
That was it. That was his year. That was his number 1 overall. Okay, so we got DeMarco, we got Le'Veon Bell.
You got DeMarco, Le'Veon, and Marshawn at 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
I want to give you guys a hint, but I'm like, whoever I give you a hint to, obviously,
that's
an advantage.
Shed, this is it. You can't get another strike. You have 2 strikes.
Shed,
right
you
now.
haven't gotten one right, dude.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley was not. He is not on the list. He was not even
early.
in the NFL in that
That's
season.
too early for him. He wasn't around.
You're
yet.
out. That's 3 strikes.
Okay, Olu, please keep it alive. You only have 1 strike so far.
Let me think. Oh man. Okay, give me a second. Let me think. Let me go to different. Again, Give me a second.
I know. I'm going through all the teams too.
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice is not on the list.
Oh, that's the. He was out by then. This was after the punch. 2014 was after the elevator video. Okay. So Olu has 2 strikes. Is that right?
Yep. Olu has 2. Will, you have none.
Okay.
Will, you've gotten 2 correct. Olu has gotten none.
Matt Forte, Chicago
Matt
Bears.
Forte is number 4 on the list.
Yes.
Wow. I was going to say, think PPR running backs. The guy had 102 catches that year. He had 100. Matt Forte was like the guy that if you had him in fantasy football, you were going to be okay.
Right. Absolutely.
He rushed for over 1,000.
Where did he go after? Did he go to the Jets for like a year?
No. I think he finished.
No. He went somewhere else.
With the Jets.
Yeah, he went.
The man had 1,038 yards and 6 touchdowns, but then had 102 receptions for another 808. He was a poor man's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Olu.
I don't care. I'm gonna go for it. Whatever. LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount is not on the list. That's 3 starts.
All right.
Will, do you want to go? Will, you've gotten none wrong.
I'm gonna keep going here. I'm gonna keep going.
Lightning round.
Arian Foster.
Arian Foster is number 5 on the list.
Yeah, he was my next one.
That's why I'm like, that should have been easy.
Frank Gore on the 49ers.
Frank Gore is number 16 on the list. That's incorrect.
Not top 10. Okay, so I got 2 guesses left. I hope this is the right year. Devontae Freeman on the Falcons.
Devontae Freeman is not on the list.
Dang,
Wow.
That was another year when he...
Who was the Broncos? Who was the Broncos running back?
2014 Well, I
It
know
was
the name that I want to say, but I think it was too early for this guy.
No. I know who it was.
In 2014, I don't think he was a top 10 back.
He wasn't.
No. Yeah. Well, I'll just say this doesn't count as a guess because it's already out. But was it Noshawn or was it Melvin Gordon? No, Melvin
was
Gordon was
CJ
way
Anderson.
later.
It was
Oh,
CJ
CJ
Anderson.
Anderson. Okay, hold
Fullback
on. So
turned running back.
I have 1 strike or 2 strikes.
2.
Dang. Okay, I really don't know about this one, but I think the timing lines up. Eddie Lacy, Green Bay Packers.
Eddie Lacy is number 6 on the list.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, Eddie Lacy was balling. Eddie Lacy was a big man too.
I don't.
What about
There was no one on the Vikings, right? Because we already guessed AP. The Colts. I don't think the Colts had a top 10 guy around that time because that was like the Andrew Luck era. Jaguars, no. Cardinals, I don't. Man, I don't think they would have had a top 10 guy.
Just say a name.
My gosh. We already got Arian Foster. Yeah. Okay, I think he may have been gone by now, but Jamal Charles on the Chiefs.
Jamal Charles is number 7 on the list.
Okay.
Wow,
That's the guy. Everyone loved Jamal Charles.
Yes. Jamal Charles. Okay, we already tried Ray Rice.
Jamal
Okay,
Charles averaged like 5.5 a carry for his
all
career.
right, so oh man, now I'm gonna blank on this guy's name.
what team?
For the Ravens, they brought in a free agent after Ray Rice
Yes.
from
Yes.
Cal. He played at Cal.
Perfect. Yep, you're in the right one.
Oh man, I might not be saying this name right, but I want to say Deshaun Foster.
Justin Forsett.
Oh my gosh, Justin Forsett.
Deshaun Foster was the running back from the Carolina Panthers when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yes. Justin Forsett. That was the name. That was who I was envisioning. I couldn't remember the name. That was strike 3, right?
Forsett is number 8 on the list. Number 9 was Miami running back Lamar Miller.
Oh
and number
my
10,
gosh.
Cincinnati running back Jeremy Hill.
Jeremy Hill, get out of here.
Wow.
No one would have ever guessed Jeremy Hill.
Jeremy Hill is the one that if you got it,
I
I give you
remember
an instant
Jeremy
win.
Hill.
But Will, you crushed it. Shed, you failed. But good job. Let's get our last. I want someone else to do Trivia Corner next time, okay, so that I can participate. I love
Jeremy Hill kind of reminds me of just the body type, Joe Mixon.
Okay. Makes sense.
I didn't look at Jeremy Hill's body long enough.
Single game mock. We got to go fast on this.
Single game mock, guys. So it's right now, it's with the exception of Olu, it's pretty close between Shed, Will, and myself. Shed has 233.5 points. Olu has 177.7.
How does the king end up, being trampled like a?
You've had some pretty rough weeks, my guy. You've had some pretty.
I'm being trampled like a common peasant.
Yeah, you've had a couple picks that didn't pan out too well.
All right. I don't care. I'm gonna go with I do want to go with no, I just go.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I got very lucky last week with Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. That helped me out a lot.
We heard Olu's pick, right? Say it again, Olu.
The King Henry.
Okay, wait, hold on. Can I explain the rules first, guys?
Oh, yeah.
So single game mock, what we do is we take the Thursday night football game and we draft only skill players, running backs, receivers, and tight ends. PPR scoring, no quarterbacks, no defenses, no kickers. And we keep a running score. Right now, who is in first? Right now. Oh, no. Did I delete it? Here it is. Shed is in first, 233.5 points. I'm in second, 229.7. Will's in third, 224.4. And Olu, 177.7. This week, the game is between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Excellent game. Very exciting. Olu, you are up first.
King Henry.
Yeah, they're
gonna help.
Can't go wrong with that. King Henry with the 101. Okay, mine, give me Jamar Chase. And the reason why is because 4 of the last 5 weeks, the Ravens have been terrible against the pass. They're actually allowing the most PPR points to wide receivers in the league right now. So there we go. Done.
There are so many players to choose from, and I am between two players right now. One is a running back, one is a receiver. But I'm going to go for volume, and I'm going to take Chase Brown at running back.
You're not scared of Khalil Herbert. I like the confidence.
Absolutely am not scared of Khalil Herbert. Not one bit.
All right.
Chase Brown. I think he's going to get a goal line touch. I think his production this past week was exceptional.
Dang. If Shed
Chase Brown has won.
Yeah. If Shed does this correctly, he's going to just extend his lead. He has the next 2 picks, and it should be obvious.
Is it though?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is it obvious?
Yes,
I mean,
100%.
one of them, Zay Flowers. That's an obvious one.
My guy
is that the 104? Zay Flowers?
Yeah, 104.
Has to be.
All right.
That's who I was between. I was between Zay Flowers.
Is Higgins playing?
He hasn't
you
been
better
practicing.
do your own research. We don't know. Can't tell you anything.
He has not been practicing. That's for sure.
All right, let me go with Gesicki.
Whoa! Really?
Yep. Based upon the passing defense.
Okay, Matt.
That's tough.
This is crazy that this is tough.
It is, though. It is. I am trying to see how healthy this guy is. Because I want to draft him. I think prime time football.
Yep.
Let me see. Is where we're going to see this man get some production. I will take Mark Andrews.
Dang. I was hoping he would fall.
Andrews?
He only had 2 catches last week.
He only had 2 catches, but the last primetime game that the Baltimore Ravens played in, he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So I believe that was week 7 against Tampa Bay. So I'll go on a limb and take Mark. It feels weird saying I'll go on a limb and take Mark Andrews, but I think that's the pick.
Okay. I have a couple options here. Dang. Yeah, T. Higgins is still not practicing. My gosh.
That's the challenge, man. Puka Nacua wasn't practicing that 1 week. And he blew up. Don't take him.
Yeah, I'm going to go for upside. I mean, if Higgins is out, there's really not much left. But I'm going to hope that he has learned the offense and he's ready to go. Give me wide receiver Deontay Johnson.
Oh, come on, dude.
You could have taken him.
No, I'm like, don't do that to yourself. You're going to hurt yourself with that one.
With Deontay?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think he's getting more targets than Mark Andrews. No question. Cincinnati they are not a very good defense.
I just don't think that's the best guy left.
Okay, then Olu's got to take the best guy left.
Good.
Jermaine
Olu likes to dig deep.
Jermaine Burton did not play. That's what you're going to get.
So who do I have left? Has Chase Brown been chosen?
Yes.
Yes, Chase Brown's been chosen.
Okay, so who do I have left?
You have Isaiah Likely, Rashad
Yoshivas,
and Yoshivas.
You have Isaiah Likely.
You have Yoshivas Likely or Bateman. Or Justice Hill.
Give me a second.
Khalil Herbert.
No.
Jermaine Burton. Is he going to play?
What if we added quarterbacks just for rushing?
No.
Just for rushing. Not passing, just rushing.
Oh man, Bateman. Let me think of what the grade script would be like. Okay, you go bar for bar. Let me get Bateman. Give me
the pride of Minnesota.
Let me get Yoshivas.
Who?
Yoshivas.
Yoshi.
Andre Yoshivas.
Hold on. Before I say that, wait, hold on. Let me
No,
think.
too late. It has been spoken.
If you're looking online and you're looking at Shed, you could tell from just by looking at him, Shed hates his picks.
Nah, I'm okay with it. The problem is you have to figure out which receiver is going to go off in Baltimore.
Well, I hate your picks, so that's
Flowers and Gasecki.
to recap what we have here from a very good game that should be Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Guys, Thursday Night Football last week was awesome on Halloween. That was a good game. But anyways, Olu is sitting pretty with Derrick Henry and Andre Yoshivas, two guys who like to get in the end zone. Will has Jamar Chase and Deontay Johnson. I'm sitting with Chase Brown and Mark Andrews. And Shed, who hates his pick, Zay Flowers and Mike Gesicki. That is single game mock. We'll see how we continue to do with this. And ultimately, we have decided that the winner will get a Jameis Winston jersey. Why? Because Jameis Winston is the man. All he does is deliver one-liners. But that is our podcast for today. We hope to see you again with your hosts, Shed, Olu, Will, and Matt. We will see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Peace.